Luxury, premium, elevated. You've heard those words so many times before that they've lost all their meaning. Over the years, I've taken apart hundreds of garments and I've helped brands manufacture millions. Each one taught me what to do, what not to do, and eventually what I wanted to create. Most shirts were only made to be sold. This one was built to last. Every spec, every supplier, every decision came back to one question. In a few years from now, will this shirt still be the best one that you own? A reference standard. By the end of this, you're gonna know exactly what it took to build the reference standard and why most brands don't bother. Because at every step, most brands take the shortcut. A cheaper fiber, a faster mill, a looser tolerance. We took none of them. To make this shirt, I couldn't start at design. I couldn't start at the fabric. I couldn't even start at the yarn. I had to go to the very beginning, the farm.
You can see there's in a Pima lock, there's always 3 locks. So 3 locks is this, right? So it's 1,
Lock.
2,
L-O-C-K?
LOC,
L-O-C, okay.
right? So it has 3 locks in each. And then if you look at one, and on top of the 8, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this one.
Okay, yeah.
So 18, 15, 18, depends, 20. It all depends. But a Pima will always be 3 versus an Upland, which will be 5 locks. So Upland bowls are bigger, but they have
So you get
shorter,
more, okay.
a little bit more yield, but lower quality fiber. And then you also have the seat that's white, more safe back seat. And that's the beauty. And then the difference between this and Upland cotton is the fiber is finer, it's thinner, it's more uniform. So in terms of the shape of the fiber, it's actually a tube. It's fine, strong, which allows for better dye uptake. And with the thinner fibers, it means you can get more fibers in the cross section of the yarn, which means you can make finer yarns. You also make stronger yarns because the more fiber. It's not that you have more twist. You can do with less twists. You can have stronger yarn because there's more fibers in the bundle that are twisted and binding together. The fiber is not perfect. It's not like a synthetic fiber, which is completely smooth. It has nothing to catch on. Natural cotton fibers are imperfect, so they're perfectly imperfect. And that imperfection is what allows it to bind together when you're twisting it to make the bundle. And that's what provides then the elongation in the yarn and then the strength in the yarn. So sliver, if you take a sliver at a spinning mill and you twist it and then you attach it to a bumper of a car, you can haul another car. It won't break. Wow. It's so strong.
But the fiber doesn't grow itself. The next person that I met has been farming this land for 15 years. He didn't talk to me about specs, he talked to me about soil.
So my name is Jacob Sheely. I'm a second generation farmer in California, but a 4th generation farmer from Arizona and California. Started in this, I grew up on the farm. I worked for my dad now for about 15 years full time. I got a degree in business, and the reason why was my dad told me, I asked him, what do you want me to go to school for? And he goes, I don't care. Choose what you want to do. And I knew I eventually wanted to come back and farm. There's a lot of different things that the cotton likes to absorb and help it grow. And so we like to put that back in. After we harvest, there's a lot of organic material that's still left out here. And we like to crush that up and then put it back in the dirt. It makes for a good, healthy soil.
Now that we knew about the plant, the next step was to harvest it. That is where I met Julian. Before I could even introduce myself, he pulled a cotton seed off the plant, he popped it into his mouth and he bit down. He said 15 minutes. I said, what do you mean 15 minutes? How do you know that from biting a seed?
So you're looking inside the cotton, you're gonna find seeds. Look, if it's mushy, you're gonna get mow for the rolls. You want it to crack. That's how you know it's gonna be a good. You gotta make sure it's never wet. So the first stage, when you bite it and you feel like it's soggy, like if you're biting like gum or something, it's an hour, 45 minutes. But when you start getting like a small crack, a small something, it's like 15, 20 minutes. Right now, I'm still getting like 15 minutes, like 10 minutes. And still until you're gonna get a hard crack, like if you're biting a peanut or something. We don't want to pick nothing wet, nothing. Make sure it always cracks. Once it cracks, you're good to go.
Thank you. This is Julian. Julian, what are we about to do?
So we're about to start picking. It's ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Let's go full throttle. And listen. Just listen for a minute. Make sure everything sounds good and
You don't have vibrations or anything,
yeah.
right?
We check our water. We're good. We got pressure on it. We got 25 psi. That's good.
This is all mapped out then, eh?
It's mapped out. It looks kind of right now. It looks kind of weird, but
Yeah.
once we go in the field, it's gonna look way better. Okay. Let's do it. Okay. So we're in it.
So is there like any particular technique or just low and slow?
Oh, you do have to have a
Yeah.
lot of things in mind. First, what you gotta have in mind is your water pressure. That's the most important thing, your water. With no water running inside the heads, you're not gonna get your cotton to go through the spindles.
So how does the water pressure work?
So you got a water pump in the back, right? We got in each head, we got an adapter where it throws water. It's a precise amount of water which it throws. 28 psi is what I got right now in each head. So it depends how the cotton is, depends how the weather is. You lower it or you go up. If it's too dry, you go more water. If it's too wet,
You waited for it to be dry just to wet it again?
yeah. The plant goes by one side and the spindle just like grabs the cotton and it goes around the spindle and it throws it to the back, into the back, into the back.
How many modules can you do a day?
I do like 12 or 15. We want to pick it. We want to pick it pretty good. We don't want to leave. We try to get the most cotton out of it.
Okay, because
Yeah.
that's like you have to balance the
You gotta-
speed that you're driving and then the harvesting.
You can see that we leave cotton. I mean, you're almost gonna always leave cotton. You try to pick the best you can by going slow and keeping your heads on maintenance every day.
And how do you know how full the back is getting?
That's your basket, right? And then you got this one right here, which is your roll. It tells you how many inches. Right now we got 20 inches of the bell.
And how many inches are you looking for?
92.5 or 94 between them. It's average. When you want it, when your basket is full, you just press this right here.
Oh, and it starts something there. Okay.
You can feel it too.
Oh, that's a little precarious over there.
Yep.
Oh, you can definitely see like where you've harvested this and where you haven't.
Uh-huh. Here are your rows. Looks pretty nice.
Do you ever find yourself just like, oh, that's not straight enough?
Oftenly, I mean, the tires,
Yeah.
they adapt themselves. They go by itself.
Oh, they're in the ruts
Yeah.
anyways, right?
The only reason I hold it a little bit because I want the plant to go directly in the middle. So sometimes you go like to a little to a side, and you're gonna see the plants like pushing. You don't want that. You want it to go straight in the middle. That's the basket right there filling
Okay.
up. That thing that's turning, that's the
that's the
bell.
roll.
Yeah, that's the bell forming.
Wow. I can see the appeal. It's very peaceful.
You got enough time to think about everything here.
Right?
Yeah.
You're just alone with your
You're just alone with your thoughts and a CD player.
Is there like a Julian's Greatest Hits mixtape?
Yeah, of course. There we go.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Great meeting you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too.
After harvesting, we got to speak with Derek, who runs this whole operation. And he taught me what happens in between the cotton seasons matters just as much as the cotton itself. Crop rotation, soil chemistry, laser leveled fields.
My name is Derek Azevedo. I'm with Bowles Farming Company, and we're located in Los Banos, California. Crop rotation is something that's incredibly important to us. Or a lot of folks don't realize how critical that component is to soil health, to plant health, and to just the overall soil quality of the farm. One of the things that we rely on most with our crop rotation are really interrupting disease cycles, interrupting pest pressures, and really giving ourselves a chance to grow the highest quality, highest yielding produce we possibly can. Ultimately, every way we interact with our crop and our soil is based in scientific principles. And so even if we were furrow irrigating, which we did on this ranch for a long, long time, we invested in a lot of technology with the tractors and laser scrapers that allow us to map the fields and then set that field on a plane. So in our case, we generally go to about 1/10 of an inch per 100 feet in order to have a very flat surface for the water to pass from one end of the field to the other.
Pan over to this field. Look, that's pretty incredible to have such vast level pieces of land on around Earth.
Yeah.
Pretty much perfectly flat.
Yeah. And that was incredibly transformative technology at the time. And you want to be able to make sure that when you're applying fertilizer, you're applying water, you want to be able to apply them as evenly as possible. And so if you think about agriculture as a series of managing curves, flattening those curves out with technology provides incredible value.
Now I knew how the cotton was grown. I knew how it was harvested. But how does it actually become something we can spin into yarn? That is the question that took us to the cotton gin, where we met Kurt.
We've been cotton growers since before I was born, and I'm 68 years old, so we've done it for a long time, and this is the first step in the processing of lint. And I think you guys probably know that in a cotton gin, you dry it, and then you separate the seed and the fiber, and seed goes out into the warehouse, and we use that mainly for dairy feed and sometimes oil, but mostly for dairy feed. And then obviously the lint is cleaned after it's separated from the seed. It's cleaned one more time, and then it put into a compressed and put into a 500-pound bale or 490-something pound bale, and then it heads off to an inland port, and then it will go off. Most of our cotton is exported to different areas. Obviously, with what's going on now in our country, it's a little difficult to export now, but we're working on that. We hope things are going to get better.
The cotton has been grown, picked, cleaned, and pressed. Now it's a 500-pound bale ready to ship anywhere in the world. But anyone can grow cotton and call it the best. How do you actually prove it? The answer led me to a federal building.
My name is Ryan Phillips, USDA Cotton Cellular Classing Office. Here is our receiving room, and this area is where we receive all the sacks of cotton, unsack them, and tray up the cotton. But approximately 40 samples in a sack, a sample off of each side of the bale, the card in the middle, and that's the identification coupon for that sample of cotton. That sample of cotton and the PBI stay together throughout the classing process. We are one of 10 classing offices throughout the U.S. We are the only office that grades upland and Pima cotton.
Every bale that leaves this office gets a record. Length, strength, color, micronair. Those numbers go on a ticket that follows the bale wherever it ends up in the world. That is why I chose to use Supima. Not only is it the gold standard, it's the only cotton in the world I can actually prove.
To turn the best fiber into the best yarn, we headed here at Jiangsu Dasheng. Founded in 1895, one of the enterprises that built,
modern Chinese industry. Its records sit in the same UNESCO archive as the Confucius family papers. 130 years later, it's still running, and it's running one of the most advanced textile facilities on Earth. A 5G dark factory so automated, the lights stay off until a human walks in. 23,000 parameters checked every minute. It's through this heritage and innovation that I knew our yarn could be perfected here.
This manufacturing plant actually has 4 separate factories, and you'll see how large it is that they have their own roads. Based off of the staple length of these ones, they're processing upland cotton here. You can tell because these fibers are super short. It's going to lead to a rough yarn. This is what the majority of cotton t-shirts are made out of. You see, this has already been processed. That is your Supima cotton.
So how do we take this and turn into something that we can spin into yarn? The very first machine it's going to go into is what's called a card. What that machine does is it cleans and aligns those fibers into a rough rope called sliver. For most cotton t-shirts, this is the last step before spinning, carded upland sliver. Rough surfaces, broken ends, short fibers. This is the majority of cotton t-shirts. For our yarn, there's a second machine called a comb. What it does is it pulls out the shortest fibers that pass the carding process. What's left is a sliver that only has the longest, strongest fibers in the bale. Most brands don't bother combing because the yield is lower and the cost is higher. By the time you get to spinning, you're already looking at 2 drastically different products. Next, we're taking this and we're spinning it into our yarn. For our yarn, we chose the spec of NE 122. Let me explain that further. NE stands for New English Count. The higher the number, the finer the yarn. Most cotton t-shirts use 30 to 40 count. Ours is 120, so 3 to 4 times finer than most cotton t-shirts. After we have our ultra fine 120 yarn, we're taking 2 of them and twisting them together into what's called a 2-ply yarn. This results in a yarn that is significantly stronger and pretty much fully resistant to pilling. The result of that entire process is this. 120 2-ply yarn. There's only a few mills in the world that can actually spin a yarn this fine. And you typically only find this in high-end dress shirts. And this is what we are building our fabric and our t-shirt off of.
Now that we have our yarn, we have to knit the fabric. We are at our partner here in Foshan, China, who exclusively supplies high-end domestic brands. And that was important for us because they understand quality and precision. As you can see, the machines here are actually enclosed. This is to prevent fiber contamination. There's 82 machines at this factory. Let's go take a look at the one that's making our fabric.
Let's talk about knit structures. This is a single jersey knit. It's comprised of a single set of loops. They're all running in the same direction. You'll see each one of these rows here would be a yarn. There is a technical face and a technical back. It's simple to produce, and that is why the majority of the world's t-shirts are made with a single jersey knit. For our t-shirt, what I chose to use is what's called a interlock knit. An interlock knit is essentially a double-faced single jersey knit. It has the same loops on the front as it does on the back. The result of that is a fabric that is more structured, smoother, and more durable because you have twice the amount of knit structure for the same amount of area. The next thing I did was how I approached recovery for the fabric. A knit structure has mechanical stretch built into the design. By stretching the fabric this way, it shortens the loops this way, which provides that stretch. However, once that fabric has been stretched too much, it loses its recovery. And that's how you end up with shirts that are really sad and saggy over time. And because I designed this from the ground up to be a black t-shirt, we actually use black lycra in the knit. The result of that is a fabric that when you stretch it, it doesn't have the typical glimmer that spandex fabric would have. It stays nice, deep, and dark. The cotton, the yarn, the knit, all of that was to create this. A fabric that was ultra smooth, soft, yet feels substantial and durable, and was designed to last years.
The fabric's not ready yet, but I'm going to show you what it looks like right out of the machine. This being a circular knitting machine, it's going to be knitting a tube of fabric. It's not the same as tubular though, because this fabric will get sliced into an open width. You'll see the fabric right out of the machine is already super smooth, and it's got great stretch and recovery because of that lycra. The next step of this fabric, it needs to get inspected. So let's go see what that looks like. After the fabric is done, every single roll is going to be inspected for any knitting defects or stains. On this station, we have Mr. Lee, who's been apparently inspecting fabric for over 4 decades. Right now, we're about to have some tea. It's a very important part of business culture here in China. Among all the automation and machinery, some things are still very traditional.
Now that we had the fabric, the question was, how do we elevate it further? I needed a specialty dye house. one with the liquid ammonia machine that takes the cotton fiber down to minus 33 Celsius and rebuilds its molecular structure from the inside out. And a chemistry team I could collaborate with to develop our custom dye formula.
This is the color lab at the dye house. It's here where we spent months developing our custom formulation for our true black fabric. And this is the result of all that hard work. An impossibly black dye that won't fade out after one wash because it's using reactive dyes. And this is what it looks like on our fabric. We've been able to achieve an L value, which is darker than the darkest available Pantone. You can see how dark it looks against my current shirt.
Color is the first part of what happens here. The next step we take to elevate the fabric even further is our liquid ammonia treatment. So this is a scaled up model of a cotton fiber. You can see it's kind of kidney bean shaped. It's flat and it's twisted. This is because during the cotton maturing process, this area in the middle, called the lumen, collapses in, and because it dries at uneven rates, it results in this fiber shape. This is what a cotton fiber looks like after the liquid ammonia treatment. You can see it's more oval shape. It's significantly smoother, fuller. It still has a little bit of the twists in there, but it's really smoothed it all out. The way this process works is the liquid ammonia actually breaks down the hydrogen bonds in the cotton structure itself. And by breaking those bonds, it allows the cotton fiber to swell and puff up. Once that liquid ammonia is recaptured by the machine, new bonds are formed in this new shape, and it's permanently set this way. This gives a fabric that is, again, even more durable, smoother, and wrinkle resistant. Most brands start out at their peak. Ours starts out better and gets better over time as those cotton fibers soften. The cotton, the yarn, the knit, the dye, the finishing, every single step compounding on the last. I can almost guarantee you, you have never felt a shirt like this before. After the liquid ammonia machine, I wanted to make sure we had fabric that was stable. So we put it through multiple rounds of compacting where we pushed those loops tighter together so we could achieve shrinkage in the dryer that was sub 2%. The last step before the fabric gets to leave the building is, of course, an additional final inspection.
We're here at the garment factory in Foshan, China. They have the latest round of samples that they've been working on with Shift's development team. Let's go upstairs, take a look at it, and let me show you how the garment's actually made. This is the final shirt itself. You already know how great the fabric is, and you can see here on body, it is super smooth, yet still structured. Because of that Lycra, it has a great amount of stretch in the fabric. For the fit, I chose to go with a classic fit. It's a little tighter around the shoulders and chest to emphasize the physique, but it hangs straight from the chest down. That way, it doesn't hug anyone's belly if you do have one. The shoulder seams go edge to edge as one continuous piece, and we made it with a nylon spandex binding. That binding combined with the shoulder seam placement really distributes the weight of the garment. For the collar, we have our anti-bacon neck technology, otherwise known as ELS cotton, and a Sorona blend. That Sorona acts as a mechanical spring, and we've stretch tested this hundreds of times, and it's held up its shape wonderfully. We of course have our dual seams here right over the trapezius muscles, and what that does is it gets rid of any excess fabric that would have been there. One thing we really focused on was the thread that we chose to use as well. All of our seams here use a PTT stretch thread. That stretch thread allows you to stretch that seam without fear of any breakage. And along the side where you traditionally find a overlock seam, we actually did a flat felt seam that's smooth on both sides. And this is what you usually find in a high-end dress shirt. All of that was done to make sure that the shirt looks great on as many bodies as possible. I'm wearing a size small, and so is the mannequin. However, if you want a more standard or looser fit, you just size up. Now that you know how the shirt fits, let's see how it was made. This factory has been here for almost 30 years. With over 300 craftsmen, 90% of them have been here for over a decade, and some of them even longer. It is these craftsmen that we've trusted with their meticulous attention and their skills to assemble our shirts. This is the last step of the garment factory before the garments can leave. They go through further scrutiny to my right here with this team, and then they get steamed, folded, and packed, ready to get sent to you.
And because quality is so important to me, my staff do an additional inspection on top of the final factory inspection. This project started over 2 years ago with one question: what would it take to create something without compromise? That question took me 26,000 kilometers all the way around the world, from the farmers' fields in California to century-year-old plus factories in China. Along the way, I was able to work with people and companies that were not only experts in their fields, but absolute titans, each one providing their knowledge and their insight. There's well over 100 years of combined experience distilled into one singular item: this black shirt. And that is why I call it the reference standard. The shirt is now available at shiftfashionGroup.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned what it takes to make something that's truly high quality. I'm so proud to put my name on this.